Hey everybody, welcome to another On the Paint Table. It's my weekly show where you see what I got done, what I'm working on, and what is coming up. So it's been a week, the studio's back in operation, everything is dried out. And in that time I put some stuff together, I painted some stuff. I actually only painted 2 models this week. You're also getting to see the 8 models that I painted last week. So the 10 models painted are from the last 2 weeks. I got some cool new stuff to put together. I built and assembled and primed a few things. More stuff for Relic Blade, some stuff for Gamelwolves, for some content I'm writing. And then of course, luckily for me, I was sent some cool new preview models from Games Workshop for free. The Blood Knights for the Soulblight Gravelords I'm going to be working on, so I can try and actually get a game in with the army. So anyway, let's see what got done and what is coming up. So first things first, here is my done pile for Relic Blade. You saw them featured in the Let's Play for the Storms of Corral. I painted my Warden of Justice, who's a very cool sort of like almost leader type for the Temple of Justice. My Gnome Grenadier, who's amazing. She likes to shoot and throw grenades, and is generally kind of terrifying with her dire like arquebus. My Lone Guard Infiltrator, who's a very cool assassin with like a ranged throwing attack and lots of cool stabby stuffs. Gets better when you hold a dodge token too, so he's really versatile at killing and surviving. Cool fast objective runner. And then the Wild Elf Witch, who is a kind of cool spellcaster, can throw some fun fiery Hadoukens, and is of course a 6 AP model, much like most of the wizards are, so she's cool at actually like doing some objectives and stuff. All these started from a brown base coat, and I worked with the different colors. I find with like these kinds of projects, doing like an earthy base tone kind of speeds with painting, and also just kind of like tints all the underlying colors, and I liked that for my overall effect. Then I painted the bad guys. I painted up my Assassin Squid, the Squid Slayer, with the bone daggers and stuff. This is for the deep. It goes with my Shark Warrior, my Shark Knight, and all of the eels and other squids. My Destroyer Pig, who's amazing. I love the Pig Warlord. I need to get him painted now too to go with this guy, but the Destroyer Pig is a amazing fighter model for the Pig faction, and also for the adversaries. My Dark Prophet. There's the Wanderer, the Watcher, and the Prophet. This is the Prophet. And she is a caster model with a very cool debuff, some poison attacks with her ranged abilities, and of course 6 AP as well, like the other caster. There's almost a mirror in each of these models. So the Destroyer Pig kind of mirrors the Warden, the Slayer Squid with the the Infiltrator, the Witch, and the Prophet, and then last but not least the Iguan Marauder, who's awesome. She has a crossbow, so she shoots along with the arquebus here, and she's actually a really tough fighter too. So the Gnome is a bit more towards the shooting side, because she doesn't even have a melee attack, but the Iguan has like everything. She fights, she shoots, she's a shield. She's a really good, like, just overall, all-around model, and a very cool sculpt, too. I got a second one, actually. I had to paint the original Iguan Marauder, so I can do all my what are they called? Wretched Hive for the adversaries. But anyway, 8, actually, great new models from Sean, and I built and primed and actually undercoated a whole bunch more, too. Then I finished up my adversaries for A Cursed City, because they're also in the Soulblight's Gravelords book, so I figured I'd kill 2 birds with 1 stone, get to try out the Gravelords in AOS, and also have all of my boss bad guys ready for Cursed City, for continuing to film some of that stuff, which you'll see on Monday. I got Radiker the Wolf done. Not to say he's any different than Radiker the Beast, but he doesn't have a giant werewolf body, so I got him all finished up. Same kind of basic airbrushing. I airbrushed the pelts and stuff like that, and the cape and the legs, and then did some highlights. And then the same with Torgilius. It's airbrushed, actually the same brown as the Relic Blade stuff, and then worked up through all the other various colors with some washing and highlighting and stuff. So like the green, you can see the underlying to the green is that same color mixed in, and then worked up for those cloak colors. I like these guys, like a board, like a message board, like tacked to his back with a knife. A whole bunch of different lists. And his little informants are all around. They're all carrying scrolls and stuff. His crow and the hound and the rat, who all talk to him, and the bat there, who all tell him the secrets of the city. It's a pretty cool model. And when you play with the Gravelords, the entire bad guys, except for the Elfin Watch and the zombies, are basically a single unit in the army for 755 points. So it's like, I might as well finish this, and I've got almost a 1,000-point army. I gotta paint my my cool Blood Knights that I'm gonna get to show you in a second. I'll show you the sprues. And then the Elfin Watcher battle line choice. The zombies I gotta kind of pad out, but they're also battle line choice. So the box set kind of had a Gravelords army in it, ready to go. Leads us to these. It was really cool. It's the first time it's ever happened. There was a box of models. Actually, maybe it's not the first time. I think when the Imperial Knights dropped, actually, the new ones. They sent along a kit too. But this is the first time a Battle Tomes come with a box of models, so I gotta check out the Blood Knights. Now the Blood Knights were like the most like crazy unit in Old Warhammer Fantasy Battle if you ever played them. And this unit's a bit toned down by comparison. Like, it used to literally just be like a unit of vampire characters that would murder everything. They're still really good, but they're only like a 200-point cavalry unit. So like they're in there with like less points actually even than like Desolators, and all the Sigmar cavalry are way heavier cavalry than these, but they're still super cool. They're still vampires on skeleton horses, which is neat. They don't have dark steeds anymore, which is kind of interesting. But you've got, it looks like 2 per frame and then a command frame. So 2 different frames of knights that appear to all be different. Actually, they might be the same even. Are they the same numbers? I could be able to tell if they're the same numbers. No, they're different numbers. This is 1 frame. If you ever look, you want to know how many frames something is, you can see here it's 1 snipped together. And then this is actually being paired with something else on a machine. So you see how, oh no, actually this goes in the middle. It's 1 frame, there you go. Like that. That's a single casting plate. So and it'll be numbered 1 through whatever the total numbers are. So there's your banner and your command in the middle there, and then left and right you get 2 more knights. And it looks like your weapon options are lances or cool swords. And it doesn't really matter, I don't think. Their weapons are all the same no matter what you model them with. So I'm probably not going to give them lances just so they don't break. I'm probably going to give them all hand weapons just because like the rules are identical and I'd rather not have pokey bits breaking off them all the time. So anyway, I'm excited to paint these and build them. Big thanks to Workshop sending them along so I could check them out and play a game with them. I think that's super cool. Also picked up these last week, so I can have, and I picked them up actually just to play Shadespire with, or Shadespire Underworlds with, and because the models are awesome, but they also fit in the army, so I decided to pull them out and build them this weekend. And that's the Crimson Court. They're at like a 200-point unit. So the little vampires aren't very interesting, but the main hero vampire, Prince Duval, is like kind of just a beastly vampire, named character vampire. I could also just use them as like vampires if I wanted to as well, just have them be vampire lords and not even bother with the Crimson Court rules. They're just a handy unit of vampire lords. Got the rest of the Relic Blade stuff I built and primed ready to go. This is the brown that is the undercoat literally on everything over there, which is Imperial Hobbies, something Earth. It's the like the main brown from the Earth. And I got a few non-Shaw models in here too from the Legends series, the Iron Tyrant, and oh, I forget his name. But these are Temple West minis that Sean has a deal with for doing the Legends figures, which are every backer at a certain level in his crowdfunds for doing miniatures gets to pick and create a Legends character. So like a certain high threshold, you basically get put into the game, and he'll draw and design rules for a unique art card for you. And legally in tournaments and events, only you're allowed to play your Legend. And he actually gave me one for my birthday one year, which was Braun Bear Killer, the famously incompetent Lone Guard, who's been the hero in all of my Relic Blade adventures and stuff. But this is the Iron Tyrant. I can't remember this guy's name, but very cool skulls from Temple West. I'm going to add to my collection just because they're neat. And then I've got my Lone Guard, just like plebs, the Watchmen. I've got the new Temple of Justice, so the new Cleric of Justice, the awesome new Questing Knight, who's super cool, and the new Thief. And then I got to paint my Lotus Blade Song, my Gilblins, and my other Iguan Marauder, because I love the Iguan Marauder for the Wretched Hive. Speaking of which, an update on my first edition of the Seeker's Handbook. So this is the original perfect bound, not hardcover one, which I also have. So I have a copy of this book still. I have the second edition of it. But this was water damaged in the flood. It was completely soaked. It had slid behind the gaming table and had gotten just completely soaked through. And I did some quick Googling on how to save a book, basically. The secret is 100 bounty select-asides that you put inside it to wick all the moisture between the individual pages. I had to carefully peel them all apart so they didn't rip. I think there was actually a couple of teeny little rips just trying to get them apart. But you can see, yeah, there's one right there. You see, just that was my thumb, literally just going trying to peel it, and it went, and it split. But I saved it, so I'm just gonna tape that. But yeah, I managed to get it so that none of the pages are stuck together. It's all completely dried out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get 2 boards and a vise. I'm gonna clamp this because you can see it's all crinkly. I'm gonna clamp this between 2 boards and flatten it out again, and just leave it for a month and see if I can get it nice and flat, or at least closer to the way it was before. And just in a vise. And I was desperate to save it. This was the one thing that I couldn't get back because it was so similarly valued. I want to thank everybody that messaged Sean to see if he'd give me another one. He messaged me and asked if I wanted one, if I was interested in that, and I said it's not the same thing. It was important to me because I felt like I didn't take care of it. He'd signed it, and This was back when he was first really like trying to get his legs under him, running Relic Blade and doing his thing, and it was really important to me that I saved it, so I did. And I'm really happy that it's gonna be okay. And I'm super pumped to paint these. This is gonna be for an upcoming expansion I'm running for Gamma Wolves. I, at the beginning of this whole pandemic, realizing I was launching Gamma Wolves into a pandemic, I thought about just cranking out some solo rules for the game, but I didn't want to just crank out some solo rules for the game that didn't mean anything to me and that weren't the solo rules I wanted. So I've taken a lot of time doing it. There's been a few iterations, but while I've been doing it and it's been coming together, I've been talking to Austin at Death Ray Designs, and he designed these critters as some of the line of bad guys for the first adventure that I'm going to write for the solo rules for Gamma Wolves. And I hope you guys are excited about the game when it drops. It seems like people are. But I've been kind of stewing on this, and it's taking a while to get done. But these are all some Ghosts of Tiamat bad guys, critters that are like, it's cool. There's official Gamma Wolves miniatures. There's some turrets. You can see they're all kind of repurposed out of like junk. There's some spawners, these spawn points that have the initial kind of like nanobots putting together the frames for these guys who grow bigger. And then there's some harvesters, which are these guys that will harvest all the junk bits. And there's a big junk bot, who again is like built by the nanobots. And these are all going to be different classes of adversaries for you to fight in a solo version of Gamma Wolves, where you pilot a mech and learn skills, and it's still the same game, but there's more sort of like structure and narrative stuff to it. And I'm gonna get these painted so I can keep working on it and start doing some playtesting.
So there we go, on the paint table, done and on the books. The exciting, slightly stressful week. At least the studio is now habitable. Get back to work. It's as resolved as it's going to be. So big thanks to everybody that messaged me and just sent me like a, hey, how you doing? Hope everything's okay kind of like thing. It meant a lot. And I'm back on track to keep working and excited to keep recording and doing more stuff. So anyway, big thanks for watching. We'll see what gets done next Saturday. Till then, I'm Ash. Have a good I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below to get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.